by cramming the train with
Morning,
passengers
everybody.
to increase ticket sales. Mexico's Army and National Guard announced a seizure of over a half a ton of fentanyl at a warehouse. They are calling it historic. The nearly 1,200 pounds found at the warehouse could have produced around $230 million of the counterfeit pill in which fentanyl is usually offered. As little as 2 milligrams of fentanyl could be lethal. For USA Radio News, I'm Ellie Andrews.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
To start off with
Hey, Joey, what's happening?
Good morning.
I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
Good morning, and welcome to Middleboro in Review. And I want to say good morning to Don. Good morning, Don.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good
How are you this?
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Good morning. Good. I'm good.
Great.
Somebody was chilly this morning coming into work, huh?
A little cold outside today.
Keep it the eater.
A little cold out.
It was perfect. I love this crisp weather in the morning, especially in July.
Well, yeah, when you're driving on the highway in the early morning, it is cold.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, we have a great show planned for you today. First of all, I want to correct myself. Yesterday, I had indicated that Tony Sirico and James Caan starred in a film called Goodfellas, and that was not the case. Not at all. Tony Sirico was in Goodfellas, and James Caan was in Godfather. However, they did star in a film together. Tony Sirico had a small role in Mickey Blue Eyes, which came out in 1999. James Caan, of course, was in that movie. Big role in that movie. And, so they did work together, Don.
James Caan was the coolest of cools. It is the last of... I mean, we still got Clint Eastwood alive, but, I put him up with Charles Bronson, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, and James Caan. And it was Clint Eastwood, who was, still with us and still, actively working, I think at 93, which is great. Not his last movie, but the movie before that, The Mule, was really good. I really enjoyed that. I didn't see his latest movie. I think it was, I'm not sure his last name. So, what was his last movie? What was it? Macho or something like that?
Cry Macho.
Cry Macho. Yeah, that was his last one. Yeah.
Cry Macho.
Yeah.
We lost Tony Sirico and James Caan this week. Of course, James Caan appeared in Mickey Blue Eyes. Really funny comedy kind of mobster comedy film. Really funny. And Tony Sirico was in it. So was many other Sopranos characters in there. That was right around the time The Sopranos started, 1999. Tony Sirico, of course, James Caan also was in Godfather, and also he was in Misery. Great horror film. A great horror film, Misery.
Oh, that movie. Kathy Bates made that movie.
Yeah,
Kathy Bates.
really great film.
Oh my God, in that movie, she was the best. She was, oh my God. Talk about acting at its finest. They both were great in that, but Kathy Bates in that one, oh my God.
And Tony Sirico was in several great films. Again, he was in, like I said earlier, Goodfellas. He was in The Sopranos. I believe he was in Miami Vice as well.
A lot of character actors.
A lot of TV shows he was in.
A lot of those, especially if you go look back at any of the newer actors, and I'm not saying newer, but 20 years ago, it was 99, you're 23, so.
Yeah.
You can go back, I mean, Uncle Junior, what's his, Dominic? Something.
Dominic, forgetting his last name right now.
I saw him in an episode of Kojak. So, in 74.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the older actors who were in that, who were like in their 60s during The Sopranos, they in their 40s and 30s, they were in like TV episodes, and that's how they got their careers, and that's how they got started. So it's fun to go back and watch that.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows David Caruso, right? David Caruso was on CSS Miami. But one of his first movies was Rambo: First Blood, the first one. He played the cop, and he was in all sorts of other movies too as he works his way up to that star role. David Caruso is like one of my favorite actors out there as far as, then he starred with New York NYPD Blue, and Dennis France and working with him was a great combination, partnership or whatnot. But that's those are really good character actors in my opinion.
All right, let's check the weather. Currently, outside of our Taunton Federal Credit Union Studios, here in Taunton, 56 degrees, a high of 82 today, and it's going to be nice and sunny. No rain in the forecast. No rain in the forecast really all week until next Sunday, but we're going to see some upper 80s this week. Possibly on Wednesday we're gonna see 90 degrees. Right now it says 92. Tuesday night will be warm. Tonight will be pretty much warm as well. In the 60s, I think, tonight for the low. Right now it says 55 for the low, but I don't know if that will if that's from this morning's low or if that will be tonight's low. I don't know, but it's gonna be warm for the days and nights coming ahead. And 92 on Wednesday. Middleboro, 55 degrees currently, a low of 54 today, which I think we probably already hitting, as I just alluded to earlier. 81. Today for the high, 83 tomorrow. Again, 90 possible on Wednesday. 77 degrees in Driscoll, Texas. A high of 105. Most of the week, we'll see highs of triple digits, except for this upcoming weekend. Not today, but next weekend. When the highs will be 99 each day. So, we got some hot days in Driscoll, Texas coming up. And in Driscoll, North Dakota. Also similarly pretty warm, 71 degrees, thunderstorms, rain right now. 83 currently. 83 currently for the high. Tomorrow, 80. 90 possible midweek. Thursday definitely in the 90s. Friday definitely in the 90s. And the weekend definitely in the 90s. And there is a severe thunderstorm watch for that area right now. All right. That is your weather. That is your weather for Driscoll, North Dakota, Driscoll, Texas, Taunton, and Middleboro. All right. So, Don.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about the lost towns of the Quabbin. Just tell us a little bit about what spurred that. I have a whole thing. I have a whole thing that I wrote up about that. But tell us a little bit about what spurred us to do that.
Well, water. Boston, growing city around the 20s, and the reservoir was in Boylston at that point in time, and it wasn't enough. They needed more drinking water, so they saw the opportunity in the Swift Valley region, and they had to by eminent domain. They took these cities over the state legislature. Talk about power, huh? Stroke of a pen.
Yeah.
4 towns out of existence. Bye bye.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of heartaches, and there was a lot of animosity towards it. But looking back, we have one of the prime water supplies in the country. The Quabbin Reservoir, nationwide is one of the best water supplies in the country. In the country.
Yeah.
From where it comes. I know New York has a good sized water supply that comes from the Catskill Mountains up in that way, but they have a series of smaller reservoirs, but they all connect. Oh my God, the Quabbin Reservoir is almost the size of Lake Winnipesaukee, maybe a little smaller, but it's up. It rivals of Winnipesaukee, and Sebago and all those big lakes up in Maine, but it's a reservoir.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very impressive. If you've never been to the Quabbin Reservoir, I take a ride out there. It's very impressive to look at.
All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back here on Middleboro Matters.
No,
Not Middleboro. Middleboro in Review. I'm sorry. It's Sunday, folks. Middleboro in Review for the July 10th date here, 2022. All right, we'll be right back. Oh, and you're listening to WVBA 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. All right.
Bill said rollerball Las Vegas. What's that?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Did they have some sort of rollerball thing?
Rollerball Las Vegas. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. Probably after the show, probably like middle of the night tonight, I'll figure out what it was. Okay, what is my next ad here?
We gonna go see Top Gun tonight or what?
Well, we have to take care of some stuff first. We have to get some stuff. Get soda.
We can get that. We can get that after we're done. We can go see a matinee and do that when we get home.
Those who have defended our country and freedoms. Our focus is to help veteran care facilities provide a warm,
we need milk again.
shelter, and guidance.
We're low on
Or
milk.
simply to say thank you and welcome home.
Stuff like that.
We have members from nearly all 50 states.
Definitely low on soda.
Many
So we don't have any
members
left.
continue to serve in our armed
Except for
forces
2 bottles of
and
soda.
serving in combat areas now. We sponsor
Alright.
or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year.
Come on.
And as a non-profit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
Hi, this is Martha Clopen.
Hi. What happened there?
Each week, we present
The
latest
button.
information on
That's
health,
what
mental,
happened, the
and
button.
lifestyle issues that affect you and
You gotta
your
make sure you
family.
press it,
It's fascinating,
or
fast-paced, and fun.
thing will
as
be
we
pain in the
explore
butt
all
to
aspects
play.
of the
You got
Medicare
fat
maze.
fingers over there?
So join
No,
me
it's
for
just
Medicare
that
Moment
this
with Martha,
board, that
Saturday
this
mornings
replay
at
board
8
is a
and
pain.
Sunday mornings
because
at
it's old.
9 on
Maybe it's the
AM
operator.
1530 and 99.7 FM
Maybe.
WBBF, your hometown radio station.
Maybe. Come on.
Spark Street Auto Body, located
You're gonna
at
hit it
Spark Street in Brockton,
certain way.
Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair and complete auto service for your car. They are
You did a really good
repair
job on this
shop for
commercial.
all major insurance companies.
Yeah.
You can reach them at 508-583-1495. They're open Monday through Thursday.
Except for the
8 to
pause.
5,
See the pause?
and 8 to 4 on Fridays. Call them
Took a
today.
breath. That's
You will
probably
not be
why.
disappointed. 508-583-1495.
I took a breath.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin. Hope you can join me every Sunday.
You gotta do a
from
program
noon to
note?
2 o'clock here on WVBF.
Yeah.
The sound
Dark
of the
on.
Emerald Isle.
Probably.
We'll have some great Irish music.
I like when you do that because,
traditional
you know,
country and contemporary.
give anyone else a-
Sometimes some live
Because it's
singers
important
in
to
the
do.
Well, I mean, this is
Make
the,
you laugh,
you
some
know,
Irish comedy. That's Sunday
this is the
from
longest,
1 to 2 right here on WVBF.
VBS I was on the air on Sunday. It's the longest
And on the internet at
stretch of time, you know, from 7 to 2, 7 to 3.
It is. You're right. It is. Okay. Red mic.
Yeah.
Yep. And we are back as I turn down the music here and
That groovy bass.
put Don's mic back on now.
That groovy bass.
Yeah, exactly. All right, 7:22 in the morning here, a.m.
Beautiful. Beautiful Sunday morning.
Very beautiful. Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful day today.
And God's flashlight is coming through the window, the sun. They call
Yeah.
that God's flashlight.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the 80s today, so it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice day to walk. A nice day to walk around,
Do some yard work.
do some yard work. Yeah.
It's been all right working weather
Mm.
because when it's too hot and humid, people try to go out and do their chores and their lawn work and it's dangerous for a lot of people who are older, and you don't want you don't want any health problems or
Yeah.
any scares or anything like that. So I feel better when the weather is cooperative because people are gonna do what they gotta do, and a lot of people work right through the heat because they have to get the work done. And I feel better when the weather is relatively cool for the working people who have to go out there and work, the landscapers and the construction guys and everyone who has to work out in that weather. I feel better when they're not out there sweating bullets.
And also, this week the pool opens, the town pool, the 12th. It was slated to open on the 5th. I saw something that got pushed back to the 12th, so that will be happening this week. The town pool will be opening, so that's another option as well.
So that's
during the week.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah, during the week, during the mid to late parts of the week. Definitely, if you are feeling like hot or feeling like you want to cool down, town pool's open as well. And Wednesday, especially on Wednesday, because it will be in the 90s most likely on Wednesday. So the town pool will be an option for sure. And also, there's a lot of great events coming up in July. This Thursday, continuing, is going to be the Town Hall concerts. So that's going to happen every week up until, I believe, the end of August. So that is also a good thing going on. And Soul Homestead until the end of September. A lot of great events there as well. So a lot going on in Middleboro for this summer, and a lot going on this week. But stay cool as well.
A lot of towns out there don't have pools. They don't have everything Middleboro has.
Yeah.
Middleboro is pretty much a hodgepodge of activity that they keep in house. And I like the idea they keep everything in house because it just goes to show it's an effective administration, and not administration, but government.
Yeah.
Middleboro runs well because if you
Yes.
can keep the pool open and you can have all these activities and town-wide and have it year after year after year without any problem, and having a municipality for your electric, which runs pretty smoothly. That goes to show the hard-working people of Middleboro and how good the government works. So, I mean, everyone complains about City Hall. No, City Hall, Town Hall for Middleboro works well for people in Middleboro, I think, considering they don't miss a beat. And they got a really good fire department, really good police department. Everyone at the town hall is great. Everything I do in Middleboro, I really don't have any complaints about nothing, and I never have. So it just goes to show that this town gears are working good. The oil machine oil,
Yeah.
the gears are running good.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, everything's lubed up.
Absolutely.
Everything's good.
Absolutely.
So that's good that they have a pool, because a lot of towns do not have a pool. They say, "Oh, go to the Y or go to the beach." At least you have an option as a Middleboro resident to go down to the pool on Wednesday and get cool.
All right, one last thing before we do our Quabbin Reservoir / Lost Town segment. Our program schedule. What does our program schedule look like for today, July 10th, 2022, and every Sunday here on WBBF? Well, after us, we will have Bread of Life. Today's program is Time is Ticking. Pastor Ortez Bancross is the host or the pastor of that program. Always a great message that he brings every single Sunday, and there'll be another one today. Time is Ticking is the name of that program. 8:30, the Rosary, the Sunday Rosary. 9 o'clock, Medicare Moment with Martha. A lot of great information about Medicare. A lot of people this year are turning 65, and that is usually the age for Medicare, and Martha has a lot of great information about Medicare and how it can help people as well. So that's coming up at 9. 9:30, Keys of the Kingdom. That's with Pastor Naomi Burton. 10 o'clock, we have All on God with Edna Isaac. At 11 o'clock, we have Musical Odyssey with Ed Sutka. 1 hour of great classical music. 12 to 2, we have 2 hours of great Irish music and comedy with Jim Larkin. Sounds of the Emerald Isle. And finally, we end the day with a great hour of talk on what's going on in Brockton and nationally with Bishop Tony Branch and Ed Miller. All right, so that is your program schedule for today, July 10th, 2022, and every Sunday here on WBBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM.
It's funny how you say that. A lot of people are turning 65 or whatnot. We got a very good friend who's turning 65 in July, another week, and the 722 Club, right? But yeah, he's going on Medicare, and he's going through all the process and stuff like that. And right now, talking to him, it seems all right. He's getting into the transition. He seems to be navigating it pretty well. And as far as not conversations, but that's good though. I mean, to listen to that show, at 9 o'clock, Medicare with Martha might help a lot of people like that. Just try to it's a navigational situation, switching over from the private health plan or municipal health plan, whatever the case may be, to Medicare, and then they can tell you about the supplements that go with it. So I mean, a lot of people, and those supplements really go well. You have like a second plan, pay a little money, and then you're totally covered for everything. So that's a syndicated program, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So that show's gaining ground.
That's out of Hawaii.
Yeah, like that show's gaining. And I know other radio stations starting a Medicare AM station in Boston started a Medicare program in the morning, and so I think that's catching on.
It
with
is.
These radio stations.
It is.
But
Absolutely.
So I think that's good that we have that show, because other radio stations are selling. They're trying to get as much information to people too. So
Yes. Okay. Our Quabbin Reservoir segment here / Lost Towns. So we're going to talk about the Quabbin Reservoir and also talking about the Lost Towns. So I'm going to read a little bit here and we'll talk.
your essay.
Yeah, I did a little bit of a write-up on this. So, starts off with, on April 28th, 1938, to make room for the expansion of the Quabbin Reservoir, 4 Massachusetts towns were removed from existence. These towns, Dana, Enfield, Prescott, and Greenwich. The first one, Dana, incorporated in 1801, formed from parts of Petersham, Greenwich, and Hardwick. The only way to get there now is by walking, by foot. In the town center, which is still somewhat maintained by the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation, a stone marker has been installed, which reads, Site of Dana Common, 1801 to 1938. To all those who sacrificed their homes and way of life. John, thoughts on Dana?
Dana had the railroad. Dana had the train. So if you wanted to get a train out of the Swift Valley, especially those 4 towns, that's where you'd go. It was such a beautiful area. Living near water. I mean, even before they started digging, the water area, the lake area was big. So it was almost like a resort area. A lot of people went there. I think they had a lot of second homes and whatnot. But Dana, I think Dana was where the train station. So everyone gathered in Dana.
Yeah.
Because everyone gathered at the train station. No one really gathered at town halls or saloons or whatnot, but they always gathered at the train station because all the mail would come in, and if Farmer Brown bought a new horse or a tractor or whatnot, it would come in on the train. So that was the meeting area there. So that was the big hub, was Dana Depot.
Our second one, Enfield, Massachusetts, incorporated in 1816. Someday, by Jackie French Collier, is a children's book about the history of the town. A good part of the Quabbin Park is in the old town lines of Enfield. The town is named in honor of Robert Field, and one of the town's earliest settlers. So that is Enfield. I think that's pretty cool that a pretty popular book or a book was made on about this town. I think it's really cool. Enfield, Don, your thoughts?
Enfield, I think, was a smaller town, but like I said, it's that whole area is just absolutely beautiful. And to picture that town back in the 20s, I think that's when the 20s, late 20s. Does it say when they voted on that?
Don't believe.
Because it was like 10 years of it.
So.
Because it was almost 10 years of clearing out.
Yeah.
So I mean, everyday life, probably as soon as they found out about the vote, I think it was in the late 20s or whatnot. But,
So 28.
28. So that's when they voted it in. So from 28 to, was it 38?
38,
yeah. Took 10
years.
years
That's the 10 years.
to disassemble anything and take the town apart. So life was normal until 1928 there, until they got word from the State House.
And then we have the two other ones here. Prescott, Massachusetts, incorporated in 1822, the youngest out of the four lost towns, named for William Prescott, who was a colonel in the Revolutionary War during the Battle of Bunker Hill in Massachusetts. Most of the town is still above water. It is now known as Prescott Peninsula. The public is not allowed on the peninsula except for guided tours. And Greenwich, incorporated in 1739, the only lost town to be under British rule when the town was incorporated. The oldest out of the four towns, named for John Campbell, the Duke of Greenwich, well known for its lakes and ponds. Mason C. Darling was a Massachusetts state representative in 1834 from Greenwich in Hampshire County. He went on to become a United States representative with Wisconsin. He was elected to that position in 1848 to the 30th Congress. 2nd District of Wisconsin, the first representative to take that seat in the new district when Wisconsin became a state. He spent 9 months in office. Pretty interesting facts about the other two towns there. Yeah. Don, your thoughts on Prescott and Greenwich?
Again, just two towns that were probably nestled in such a beautiful part of the state. You could figure that that area was just so precious and special to a lot of people who live there, and the move was heartbreaking. How can you live in there? I mean, it was for the greater good. I mean, the state of Massachusetts was right. They had to do that. They had to do that. They thought they could, and that was something that they really thought through. And plus, a lot of people needed to work too, because it was in the midst of the Depression. A year later, that's when the big crash started, and the Depression kicked in.
Yep.
So that project just started just in time. For a lot of people who needed work.
And also the war. Yeah, the war was just a couple of years out, too.
Well, it was more than a couple of years out. It was 12 years out. 38. We got into.
Well, when those towns were taken out of existence, 1938.
Yeah.
The war was only a couple of years out.
The Quabbin was pretty much done at that point. Well, it wasn't done. The Quabbin still was being worked on. They were all out by 38, but they were working on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that area, you can still fish in the Quabbin Reservoir. State of Massachusetts, the Department of Recreation, they have 3 places you can go. One on the west side of the lake, the Quabbin, and another one, let me think here, northeast, up in the corner, northeast, and one, I'd say, central east, each side. So around, and you drive in there and you can rent boats. And when I checked it last year, it was $30, but you have to fish. You have to fish. You cannot just go in there and tool around on the boat.
Yeah,
I think there was a clause they made, I think, with the people that that the fishing rights were left in place. So it's funny too, because some people bring their own boats, but you have to get it sterilized. There's places in the area where they spray it.
Yeah.
And you can't put it in the water unless you have that official tag that it's been sprayed, because you can't. It's a reservoir, so you can't bring algae from another pond into that pond. So,
Yes.
so it has to be certified, sprayed down, and scrubbed, or whatever. There's a
Absolutely.
process.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who bring their own boat do that. I think the horsepower is 10 horsepower. The boats that the state has are little John boats. Some of them are brand new. I went to all 3 landings, and what a great setup they have for the fishing. And they don't all connect though. That's the thing. The one in the west part is almost like a bigger bay, but you go out to where it's roped off. And then if you go up to the northeast side, which is almost the top of the Quabbin, they got another section that you can go in. And then down further, on the east side, central east side of the Quabbin, there's another one, but you can't get from each fishing zone from another fishing zone. They're all, and then there's an area over where the pumping stations are that no one's allowed, and the state police diving teams is based over there, and the state police pretty much are everywhere patrolling that section that no one's allowed, and plus even the sections that are allowed. So it's a water supply, but I think the state gives the people, the citizens of the Commonwealth access to this beautiful waterway. And if you ever get a chance to go out there, you got to bring a fishing rod, tackle, and have a fishing license, and they'll rent you a boat. I was talking to the attendant. They says, well, we can't make you fish, but it's meant for fishing. You have to bring that gear for us to. It's the fishing clause. You just can't tool around, and most people to go there just to fish anyway. But to go discover that area, bring some maps and figure out where these old towns are. There's a couple great documentaries about on YouTube that you can check out about the lost towns of the Swift Valley, and diving, divers, state police divers, Massachusetts State Police divers going down checking out. I think they went and checked out Dana, because Dana is underwater.
Yeah.
I think nothing.
Between the 4 towns, sorry, about 2,700 people were displaced and moved to nearby towns. The residents were given $108 per acre. These 4 towns were mostly rural. The residents had until April 27th, 1938, at midnight, to relocate. 1,100 buildings and 650 houses were destroyed, 242 miles of highway abandoned, along with a rail line, the Boston-Albany Railroad Athol branch, which served Greenwich. Route 21 needed to be routed due to the whole area being closed to the public. There are a total of 10 former towns in the state of Massachusetts that are abandoned. Those towns: Catamount, Dana, Davis, Dogtown. Well, Davis is now located in what is now Row. Dogtown, located in Cape Ann, Massachusetts. Enfield, Greenwich, Long Point, Prescott, Questing, abandoned during the Great Depression, located in the New Marlborough area. Whitewash Village. And since April 28th, 1938, no other town has been taken out of existence in Massachusetts. The project cost $53 million and cost 26 people their lives. The reservoir is about half the size of Lake Winnipesaukee, one of the greatest engineering marvels in Massachusetts for the time. That supplies drinking water to Metro Boston. Even though it was a difficult decision for lawmakers to make it worked out in the end, because without sacrifice of these 4 towns, the Quabbin would have never been made. The impact that it has today, providing much needed water to the Metro Boston area, would have never happened if the Quabbin Reservoir wasn't expanded in that way. Don, any final thoughts?
Like you said, it was a good decision by the state of Massachusetts to grab those towns and do that project. Look how big Boston is. Look how water is very important, and I think we nipped that in the butt back in the 30s because we don't really hear about water problems here. You hear about it in other parts of the country, but you don't hear about it there. And it's such a clean, beautiful area. It's not an industrial area around there. It's not really cities in the area. So as far as the whole pollution content from city and even carbon monoxide from automobiles, you don't have as much traffic in that area. So it's really, and it's a valley too. So it's a really pristine area, beautiful pines, beautiful woods. It's just a good spot to have a reservoir. And in the pipeline and the whole system they have for our water system is, I think, is state of the art. And I think it rivals almost every other water system in the United States. They saw it, they visioned it well back in the 20s, whatever they looked at it and said, look, this city is growing, and it did. I mean, if you look at pictures of Boston of just how it grew from right after World War II right up to the present day. It's in all the it's just not Boston. It's the suburbs. It's the North Shore. It's the South Shore. It's Metro West. It's everyone's feeding off that, and people need water. And if you can nip that, a lot of states are struggling for water right now as we speak. Having water, we never really had water rations. I mean, we've when there was a drought, no sprinklers, but we never heard about. Water rations. Never heard about that on this end over here. I know the requirements get low, but there's a lot of water in that reservoir.
All right, it is 7:48, and we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we're right back, we'll have a few minutes. We're gonna spend about 5 minutes talking about a sports topic, not particularly any scores or anything, but a topic that came to my mind yesterday. All right, so we're going to talk about that when we come back here on Middleboro in Review. It is July 10th, 2022. You're listening to WVBA 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. We'll be right back.
I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and here's why. This isn't about gimmicks or sentiment or what commercial I like. This is about facts. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Millions of doses have already been given in the United States, and these vaccines have the most intensive safety monitoring
This guy died.
in U.S. history.
Who?
When you need
Guy
more
from F
information,
Troop?
use a
I don't
reliable
remember
source
that.
like
I
the
don't
CDC
remember
website
that.
and get the facts.
Larry Storch.
Help protect your whole family.
Oh wow, he was
Everyone
101 years old.
vaccinated.
No, he was
Vaccines are now available for
99.
individuals 6 months of age and older. The COVID-19 vaccine has been shown to be safe, effective, and protective against serious illness. Talk to your child's doctor about COVID-19 vaccines or search vaxfinder.mass.gov for vaccination appointments.
St. Vincent de Paul of Sacred Heart Church in Middleboro serves the residents of the towns of Middleboro, Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester. Our base of operations is in the lower level of the parish hall on Oak Street.
We're going to do state history first, and then whatever time we have left, I'll do my little
At this time, we serve approximately
sports
500
topic.
families in our service area, and many of them come to us for various types of aid. This can take many forms.
It'll be brief, but it doesn't need to be that long.
Programs, utilities and rent assistance, agency referrals, clothing and furniture vouchers, and temporary lodging. For more information, go to svdbmiddleboro.org. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby.
5 minutes to talk.
Our mission is to support those who have defended our country and freedoms. Our focus is to help veteran care facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. We have members from nearly all 50 states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
Okay, we are back. And I turn the music down here. Okay. We are back here on Middleboro in Review. It is the 10th of July. And let's do our 10 histories real quick. 1999 in Women's Association Football. The United States defeated China in a penalty shootout at the Rose Bowl near Los Angeles to win the final match of the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup. The final was watched by 90,185 spectators, which set a new world record for attendance at a women's sporting event. 2019, the last Volkswagen Beetle rolls off the line in Puebla, Mexico. The last of 5,961 special edition cars will be exhibited in a museum. Birthdays. 1792, George M. Dallas, American lawyer and politician, the 11th Vice President of the United States under James K. Polk. 1920, David Brinkley, American journalist for ABC and NBC. Nearly, or just over 5 decades of journalism and his work. 1942, Ronnie James Dio, the American singer-songwriter and producer, singer of Elf, singer of Rainbow, huge solo career as well. And deaths on this day, 1941, Jelly Roll Morton, American pianist, composer, and band leader. And those are your today in histories, birthdays, and passings on this day here on July 10th. We have 6.5 minutes here. With the final 6.5 minutes, I'd like to talk about sports, but not scores or anything like that in particular. I have a certain topic that I want to talk about. And this came to mind on my way home, actually, yesterday. I saw a truck that had a New York Yankees sticker on the back of the truck. And it came to my mind that people are allowed to like who they like when it comes to sports teams. I know a lot of there's been a lot of incidences, a couple of incidences, you know, of fans harassing other fans at ballparks or stadiums and things like that. You know, when a certain rival team comes to town, that happens quite a bit. I know that happened with the Red Sox and the Yankees when I think it was last season, or I don't know. I think it was last season that there was an incident that made the news, and it just came to mind that people are definitely allowed to like a team, even if they don't live in that area. So I'm sure there is plenty of New York Yankees fans in this area, and I'm sure there are plenty of other teams' fans in this area as well. Me personally, I don't just like the Red Sox. I like some other teams as well on in the MLB, and it goes for any league. In the NFL, I like the Raiders. I root for the Raiders because I'd like to see the Raiders come back and, win some championships in the near future. I want to see them restore their 70s dominance that they had in the 70s. Those teams in the 70s that were huge and popular in the NFL. And that goes for really any league. I have different teams I like. Don, do you have a thought on that?
I was excited when the Jacksonville Jaguars made the playoffs a few years ago because they weren't doing too well.
Yeah.
They were always like last place or pretty close to last place for years. And what was that? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? They almost, they won the playoffs. Yeah. They could have won. They could have won the Super Bowl, or they could have won the championship. And I felt good about that because here's a team. And then when the Mets won.
Yeah.
Not the Mets, the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs.
When the Cubs won.
Yeah.
How many people were so happy when the Cubs has finally won since 1908 or I think it was before that. I'm not sure.
I was excited.
I was too. I was too. Well, I was rooting. I think everyone was rooting for the Cubs.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if you went from Chicago, and I know you got the Chicago White Sox and you got the Chicago Cubs, and you're talking about Cub fans who've been loyal to the Cubs all these years and not having a championship, and that's loyalty.
Yeah.
There's something you have to admire that. You have to respect that.
Yeah.
Same with Red Sox through the years. I mean, we won, what 2004, 2007, 2013, and they just won 21?
No,
20.
18.
18. So, I mean, win, but you wait from 1918 to 2004. I mean, my father was happy when people's grandfathers, people who just, there's a lot of grandfathers who didn't see that.
Yeah.
Were gone before that their first championship. And so, I mean, you're right. People need to like what they like. If you like something, you like. I think alcohol has a lot to do with it, too. People get drunk and they just cause problems, especially at the hockey games.
Yes.
You're going to get a beating at the hockey game if you're not careful.
Yes.
You say the wrong thing, so I don't know.
But anyway,
too much passion, I think.
Anyway, yes. It's just something that came to my mind. It's really cool that there are people out there in this area that like other teams. I think that's awesome. I personally like other teams as well.
I do too. And you got to also look too. I mean, you're bringing a child, or you're bringing your son or your daughter to the game. They might be between 7 and 11.
Yeah. And
a lot of times it might be their first experience seeing them. You don't need some clown out there screaming and yelling drunk profanities because it's not fair to the kids. It's not fair.
It's not.
I mean, you want to scream and yell, stay at home and yell at your TV.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw something through it, it's fine. It's your TV.
All right. Well, it is 7:59. 7:59 in 20 seconds. So we are going to say goodbye. I hope everyone enjoyed today's program. We'll be back next week, July 17th, 2022, for another edition of Middleboro in Review on WVBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. Yes, Don?
And if you ever have a chance to get to the Quabbin Reservoir, the Swift Valley area, take a ride around and check out those beautiful, beautiful spots.
All right, bye-bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
It's early. I love it.
8 o'clock is the money.
Nice.
Yeah, we're good this time. Good. Bye-bye, everybody.